Welcome everyone to Samvera Connect 2022. A big thank you to Dr. Michael Frank. That was really great talk about how specific repositories have played a role in the research and making data reproducible. I'm Carolyn Casey, and I am talking to you today from the Northwestern University campus, which sits on the traditional homelands of the people of the Council of the Three Fires, the Ojibwe, Potawatomi, and Ottawa. I'm here to present the state of Samvera on behalf of the Samvera board. First of all, thank you to the programming committee. If you remember, we had to pivot from planning an in-person conference at Notre Dame to a virtual one. So thank you to Notre Dame and to the board for working through a difficult decision to move the conference online. Samvera, I'd like to start this year's State of Samvera talk with a reminder about Samvera's vision statement listed here on the slide. The last few years of progress in Samvera has been very focused on a few facets of sustaining Samvera. From the governance changes 4 years ago, including a fully elected board and hiring centralized staff, to resources, including annual dues for partnership and annual budgeting, to community building with Heather Greer-Klein at the helm. This past year, much of our focus has been on our software development, planning, and practices, and how our software will serve the needs of the future, will serve future needs of our community. My challenge to all of you going forward is to keep this focus so that Samvera is looked to for its best-in-class solutions. To this end, what did we do this year in regards to honing in on our software? I'm going to go through a few examples now. First, Heather had the awesome idea to create a technology maintenance pledge after listening to the community's frustrations about how we were doing community sprints and planning for upcoming work. This approach allowed institutions to better plan when they could commit staff time to working on Samvera's much needed maintenance across a myriad of applications. Our goal of 2,000 hours was far exceeded with 3,300 hours pledged. That is the equivalent of almost 2 full-time staff devoted to maintaining our software. We were able to upgrade both Hyrax and Avalon to Rails 6, Blacklight 7, and Bootstrap 4. We made significant improvements to analytics for collections and works in Hyrax, and we cleared out a significant backlog of maintenance issues. And in looking at our GitHub repos, I think this approach to maintenance and having a pledge drive really paid off. We had 71 individual contributors this year, as opposed to 35 last year. And we doubled our number of contributing institutions from 14 to 28. Another example in how we focused on our technology is that the board sent a proposal to partners to ask them to use community funds to reimburse a partner institution for part of a developer's salary for the Hyrax tech lead role. The Roadmaps Alignment Group recommended this funding as a 1-year pilot and as an alternative to funding the broader technical role that was outlined in the 2018 governance recommendations. The group had come to the conclusion that a broader technical role could not be as effective when Hyrax development is without stable technical leadership. Hyrax is currently in use at over 20 partner institutions, and the community acknowledges that past volunteers in the Hyrax technical lead role found the position to be challenging and likely to cause burnout. After approval from the partners to dip into our cash reserves, we were able to welcome Daniel Pierce from Indiana University to the role in July. This approach will be evaluated in this spring to determine a path for sustainability and to determine the focus for the role, whether it be broader or whether it will continue to focus solely on Hyrax. And side note, I'm going to report on this a little later on this talk, but we did exceed some of our income this year, or our anticipated income, so we actually didn't hit our cash reserves as much as anticipated. In terms of Hyrax, we did meet some milestones this year. I already mentioned there was upgrades for Rails, Blacklight, and Bootstrap, and we actually got to beta 2 for Hyrax 4.0, which means we almost have an MVP for Hyrax using Postgres as a backend. We're really, really excited about this work. Other noteworthy releases this year includes updates to Avalon, Haiku, and Valkyrie. So be sure to also check out Samvera Labs for upcoming components and tooling for your repositories. A third example in the area of technology where we made some progress is that the board decided to no longer require contributor license agreements from individuals or institutions to contribute to Samvera technologies. Rather, we now rely on the protections already included in the Apache 2 license and in the GitHub license agreement to meet the same legal protection needs. Thanks to our fiscal sponsor, Oasis Open, Heather was able to discuss and confirm this approach with legal counsel experienced in open source licensing. This elimination of CLAs allows for a more efficient and friendlier contribution process and demonstrates that Samvera is committed to ensuring participation is easy and that the community is welcoming. Now we're looking at what comes next for Samvera software. Throughout 2022, the Samvera board and community leaders piloted a series of activities that are included in the It Takes a Village toolkit that was created as part of an IMLS grant managed by Lyrasis. We found these activities to be invaluable strategic planning tools, and you can learn more about that experience on Thursday when there is a presentation about the toolkit activities. One of these activities, we had technology stakeholders from across the community meet, and that we were able to prioritize some goals from it for this next year. Partners recently discussed these goals and gave them the thumbs up. So our goals for 2023 are listed here on the slide. We will conduct a technical analysis of Hyrax in order to define priority actions and a roadmap towards simplification of software requirements, reduction of further technical debt. We got a lot done this year, and making Hyrax easier to sustain. Our second goal is to engage with non-contributing implementer institutions to gather information on reducing their barriers or obstacles to contribution or other inhibitors to community participation and joining as partners. We may also be able to gather some information from folks who are leaving the community to just get their thoughts on how to make the community better. Actions for enacting mechanisms to address these issues will also be created. And then the third lofty goal is to analyze needs for technical documentation and end user guidelines across Samvera products. Perhaps we'll just take a few specific ones and build a proposed process for facilitating regular documentation and guide creation. We're excited to accomplish all the work in these goals in the year ahead, and there will be opportunities to participate. In fact, there is a birds of a feather conversation happening on Thursday to discuss and refine some additional, more specific technology ideas to pursue in the near future, and you're welcome to join that conversation as well. So now I'm going to hand things off to Heather for a brief update about the community this year.
Thanks, Carolyn. Go ahead and move on to the next slide. So I am happy to report that the community is going strong. To date, we have 33 partners and over 70 known Samvera technology adopters. We have over 1,200 active members of the Samvera Slack workspace, and we have 11 active working and interest groups, though we had some that opened up this year and closed this year having completed their goals. Virtual conferences give us an opportunity to reach even more current and potential community participants. So once again this year, we have over 200 unique attendees for Samvera Connect. And our hope is that in 2023, we'll be able to hold our usual virtual Connect in the spring and then an in-person event in the fall. So watch for more details about that early in the new year. So one of the things that makes our community special is our partnership model, where we invite organizations who are already invested in Samvera to become a partner. Anyone in the community can recommend an organization for partnership, and we are thrilled to welcome El Colegio de Mexico to our partner community this year. They represent our first Latin American partner and have already made a huge impact with their participation in partner calls. They're also part of the planning committee for this event. It had some great ideas. And any institution interested in learning more about partnership, please definitely reach out to me for a conversation. Another part of what makes us so successful as a community is our working in interest groups. And for those of you who aren't familiar with our group framework, it was developed to provide a lightweight way to create groups to accomplish work or to come together and discuss shared experiences. So criteria for creating interest in working groups are listed on our Samvera wiki, and we encourage folks to engage in existing groups or to develop new ones when the need arises. And a number of these interest and working groups are going to be reporting out during our time together at Connect. I'd like to invite everyone to attend and learn more about the important works of these groups. They're short updates, but it will give you an idea of a group you might like to be involved with, because these groups are the heart and hands of our community. We had 5 developer congresses and 2 community efforts this past year, mainly focused on onboarding new developers, upgrading dependencies, and integrating Valkyrie technology into Hyrax. These efforts are an ideal time for developers and technologists at any experience level to work together toward community development priorities. So our next developer congress has already been scheduled. It's going to be in late January, and you can sign up now on the Samvera wiki. The developer congresses and community maintenance efforts could not happen without the volunteer leaders who steward our technology. These leaders work together in the roadmaps alignment group to make sure we're always planning and communicating across technologies. So these are current product owners, John Cameron from Indiana University, Rob Kaufman from Software Services by Scientist.com, Julie Hardesty from Indiana University, and Rebecca Cotti, the incoming Hyrax product manager, University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and the Valkyrie product owner, Alex Dunn from the University of California, Santa Barbara. And here are our tech leads who also help shape and contribute to product roadmaps and take a lead in answering technical questions and helping the community, Daniel Pierce from Indiana University and Trey Pendragon from Princeton University. I especially want to recognize a large contribution to the community, which is Julie Hardesty's service over the last 2 years as Hyrax product owner. Julie's steadfast guidance and patience and enthusiasm has helped the Hyrax community stay on track, from her hard work with the Hyrax maintenance group to her ideas on the roadmap alignment group. I truly believe we could not have made such great improvements in the last 2 years without Julie, who is also the biggest cheerleader for our maintenance pledge program that you heard was so successful this year. So you're going to hear from Julie during this conference, and you're also going to get to meet our next Hyrax product owner, Rebecca Cotti. So thank you again, Julie. Last year, we started a new award to recognize the volunteers who make this community happen. And this award honors the late Julie Allenson, a beloved Samvera community member who was an incredible mentor and teacher and friend. And the community now presents an annual award in Julie's name to a community member who exemplifies her collaborative spirit. Anyone can donate to keep this award funded, and they provide funding to future awardees with a plaque and a check for $200. So I'm thrilled to congratulate the very first recipient of the 2022 Julie Allenson Award is Tamsin Johnson from the University of California, Santa Barbara. Tamsin was jointly nominated by 3 different folks in the community from 3 different institutions. And in their nomination letter, they noted that Tamsin should be given the award in recognition of their outstanding technical leadership, mentorship, and tireless efforts in addressing and raising awareness about issues of equity, diversity, and inclusion in our community. Their letter ends by noting that the efforts of one person can truly make a difference. Julie Allenson was one such individual, and Tamsin Johnson is as well. So congratulations again, Tamsin. Thank you for your outstanding and continuing contributions to the Samvera community. And with that, I'm going to hand things over to Carolyn to talk about our governance and finances.
Thanks, Heather. So hopefully I won't bore you. I'm just going to end this talk with just a few last business items. Oops. There we go. The board. I want to thank the board for all their engagement this past year. Specifically, I want to thank the outgoing members listed here. I will note that in addition to our normal 3 outgoing members, Nabila also left the community last week as she started a new job, not in libraries. So we will have a special open seat for the elections. Additionally, I want to recognize Esme, who has been the chair-elect this past year. He will be an excellent person to chair the board as we continue to focus on our technology stack. Lastly, this year, the board asked the partners to codify in our bylaws having that past chair position to help with organizational knowledge transfer. If a past chair position is beyond a normal term, then the person will remain as ex officio, as I will be doing in 2023, because this will be my 4th year on the board. So now on to our finances. But first, I do want to mention and thank Oasis Open, as we now have had a full year of being hosted by them and running as an independent nonprofit. This was the first year that our dues were compulsory for partnership, and our fiscal year is now aligned with the calendar year. So unlike in past years, you're going to see our full report about our finances in our annual report, which should come out in January, early 2023. But in sum, we are in firm footing. We had growth in income over last year due to new partners coming on board and due to our first year of dues to maintain partner status. Also, we'd really like to thank UNC Chapel Hill for their donation this year. We welcome donations either from institutions that cannot contribute at the full partnership level, or from partners that have some extra cash on hand and want to contribute above and beyond their dues. Expenditures this year include our payroll for community manager, consulting and legal fees, general operating expenses like office supplies, Circle CI, Zoom, Slack, etc., our Oasis hosting fees, and the salary that we're reimbursing to a partner for the part-time HireX tech lead. We will have to continue to increase income in order to sustain the technical paid staff role beyond that June 30th, 2023, especially if we want to hire part-time into a role like that. So that's what we have for our current state and what we have accomplished together over the past year. I look forward to 2023 and seeing how we can bring Samvera into the future. So cheers, everyone. I've got my little Samvera mug here. I hope you were able to get some swag on the Redbubble website.